Today we got two very powerful villains going head to head. Magneto, a guy who single-handedly took on the X-Men, versus Ultron, a guy who's taken on the Avengers countless times. Who wins? Well, let's find out. Among the most powerful, recognizable, and infamous mutants to inhabit the planet Earth, Magneto was the X-Men's first major nemesis. Now known as a revolutionist and terrorist, Magneto has fought for the X-Men as many times as he's been against them. Magneto's mutant power gives him a mastery over all forms of magnetism. He can draw on the magnetic sphere of the planet, and can perceive all the magnetic forces on Earth, and even the bioelectrical patterns in all living beings. And he can do a ton of different things with his powers, most famously, control and manipulate any metallic object, and reshape it or really do whatever he wants with it. This even includes the most indestructible metals, like the adamantium in Wolverine's bones. He's even able to manipulate the smallest magnetic particles in the universe, going so far as to rip out any ferrous elements from a person's body through their tissues or reverse their blood flow. He can create electromagnetic fields strong enough to lift hundreds of thousands of tons, and has the ability to direct his magnetic powers inward, and increase his physical attributes like his strength, durability, speed, and reaction time. He can create powerful magnetic force fields for protection, shoot powerful blasts of electricity or magnetic energy, and can generate powerful EMP pulses. Then even though Magneto's primary power is control of magnetism, he's also able to manipulate any form of energy on the electromagnetic spectrum. However, it's more difficult for Magneto to manipulate other forms of energy, so he usually only uses magnetism. And then in the corner of Ultron, created by Hank Pym to be a technological landmark, Ultron so intellectually surpassed his father, and eventually fought the Avengers after organizing the Masters of Evil. He has clashed with the Avengers numerous times, driven by his hatred of all organic life and his desire to witness its total destruction. Originally, Ultron had a basic robotic body constructed by Hank Pym, but over time, he was able to transfer his consciousness to newer upgraded forms. He's got superhuman strength that allows him to battle against the Avengers, including Iron Man, Vision, Thor, and Scarlet Witch, and lift over 100 tons, and speed greater than the finest human athletes. However, Ultron's greatest physical asset is his durability. His outer shell is comprised of adamantium, rendering it almost totally impervious to physical damage, even allowing him to take swings from Thor's Mjolnir with relatively little damage. However, his internal mechanisms are generally less durable and more easily damaged, and his joints are made of titanium to permit flexibility. Ultron has tons of different weapons at his disposal, including concussion blasters, tractor beams that allow him to manipulate gravity, radiation emitters, a ray that plunges its victims into a death-like coma, as well as allowing Ultron to control his victims or implant subliminal hypnotic commands, and the ability to convert electromagnetic radiation into electrical energy for use. While Ultron has gained a host of unique abilities, one of the most prolific of these is his technomorphing ability. Basically, all mechanics are putty in his hands, allowing him to bolster his own power, project weapons, increase his armor integrity, and absorb his surroundings into himself to build larger and more elaborate mechanical constructs. He also has a program transmitter implanted in his head, allowing him to beam part or all of his program into other computers or alternate robotic bodies. He can also control other machines remotely, even if he hasn't transplanted his consciousness into them, creating a hive mind. However, as powerful as Ultron is, he does have one slight weakness, or really kind of major weakness. He is an internal molecular rearranger that renders the adamantium components of his body more malleable, giving him the ability to reconstruct his physical form if desired. It's virtually impossible to disable from the outside, but if you're able to manipulate it, then it's all done for. However, Scarlet Witch's chaos magic is the only thing seen so far with the ability to manipulate it. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, considering how Ultron has regularly defeated the Avengers, and in his final form took on basically every hero of Earth, it's safe to say that he's more powerful than Magneto. However, what makes this fight interesting is that Magneto's powers are pretty much specifically designed to be able to take down opponents like Ultron. I mean, we have a metal robot going up against a guy who has the power to control metal. So I suppose the only question that really matters in this fight is whether or not Magneto can destroy Ultron before Ultron takes him out of this fight. Because Ultron is definitely powerful enough to put down Magneto if he really wants to. I guess it really depends on how fast Ultron could beat Magneto, and if Magneto can try and disable his body before this happens. Ultron has launched blasts that are powerful to take down Iron Man, Thor, and Vision, and really Magneto's never shown durability on that scale. But he's never needed to. He's got his magnetic shields to protect him. His shields have protected him from Cyclops, Havoc, Iron Man, Dr. Doom, Ghost Rider, even more impressive things like a nuclear bomb, Cosmic Spider-Man, Thor, even Phoenix. So yeah, I'd say Magneto can block Ultron's blast. So I guess the next question would be, can Ultron blast Magneto before he gets his shields up? I mean, if he's able to get past those shields, then he'll be able to take Eric down. However, that right there is kinda a non-starter. For two things. One, Eric is fast enough to block bullets and missiles. He's even caught Quicksilver before. He's definitely fast. And secondly, Magneto's shields are always up. So it's really not even a speed issue at all. So if Blast aren't able to do it, that raises the question. Can any of Ultron's other powers quickly take down Magneto? Well, tractor beams won't work, since Magneto can control gravity as well. Radiation emitters won't work, because Magneto can control radiation as well. Physical strength attacks won't work, since Eric has survived and blocked strikes from Thor and Hercules, who are stronger than Ultron. And then finally, Ultron has telepathic powers that can allow him to mind control opponents or put them into comas. But Magneto is famously able to block telepathic attacks thanks to his helmet. This helmet has blocked telepathic attacks from Professor X and Jean Grey, who are more powerful telepaths than Ultron. All this doesn't mean that Ultron can't beat Magneto though. His blasters and attacks could eventually get through Eric's shields, and they could always launch non-ferrous attacks or objects at him, which are much more prone to slip past his defenses. However, even though that's possible, that's not what all this has been about, because we were looking to see if Ultron can take Magneto down quickly, before Magneto could get a hold of his metallic body. And looking at all this, the answer is no. So we hop over to our next question. Can Magneto manipulate Ultron in his body? Well, there are a couple of things that we need to consider. First off, there are some metals that Magneto can't really manipulate, like vibranium. And secondly, people have been able to block Magneto's powers of magnetism before, like Iron Man. Well, that first point is kind of a no-go, because Ultron isn't made out of vibranium, but adamantium. And Magneto has definitely shown that he's able to manipulate adamantium before, as one of his famous moments was ripping all of the adamantium out of Wolverine's body. The second point is the more interesting one, because Ultron has molecular control, and this could possibly counter Magneto's magnetism. Things like this have happened before, as if someone has better control over their own body than Magneto could get, then Eric can't do anything against them. It's possible that Ultron has this level of control. It's really difficult to say. But I don't think it actually matters, because Ultron isn't a person, he's a robot. And as such, his molecular control doesn't come from some innate power inside of him, but from that molecular rearranger that we mentioned earlier. And that means that Magneto can actually manipulate and shut down his molecular rearranger. I know it's only been people like Scarlet Witch who have been able to control it before, but I really see no reason why Magneto couldn't affect it as well. Because it's not like it's protected by some magical shield or something like that. It's just protected by a hard casing of adamantium. And since Magneto can sense and affect essentially all metal, he could just bypass the adamantium shell and destroy that rearranger, and from that point on, easily dismantle Ultron, both his adamantium casing and the weaker titanium joints. I know Ultron is more powerful as a bona fide team buster, even threatening the entire universe before, but I think Magneto just has the exact specific power set that will allow him to defeat the robot by himself. Also, I know Ultron can pass his programming onto other robots, and isn't just limited to a physical body. But I don't see why Magneto couldn't dismantle any other robot Ultron sends his way. And also, in comics, whenever Ultron's body is destroyed, they count that as a victory for the heroes. I really got to give the edge and victory to Magneto here. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button. More videos just this one every single weekday, and I will see you next time.